The scariest part of becoming a functioning member of society is participating in the horrifically overwhelming practice of grocery shopping. Not only do you have to monitor flyers for sale, know where specific food items are, consider healthy choices, but you also have to monitor all the insane food labels that your government deems as a helpful way of being transparent with its grocery shopping citizens. Part of this scouring of labels is looking at expiration dates. I think for most people, including myself, this little line of text is law. It's the ultimate predictor and decider of a food's edible lifespan. Once we go past this date, there's no turning back, so that Mario milk that you've been keeping in your fridge is close to dust, so drink it up, baby. I remember shopping for myself for the first time and buying essential items such as bread and milk, the bare essentials that you would feed a prisoner in medieval times. I remember looking at the best before date on little plastic tags and seeing that the date was set for that week. Now, as someone who lives by myself, let's break down why that's crazy. That means that I'd be eating 20 slices of bread in a week. That's 10 sandwiches in 7 days, and I don't know about you, but I like some variety in my meal plan. So what happens if you don't get to all the bread and milk and sour cream or pub-style chicken nuggets before the best before date hits? Well, most likely you would throw it out. After all, it must be rotten. But what if I told you that most of the food that you think is expired is actually edible, and instead of eating perfectly good food, you're contributing to food waste within your own home? Let's get into it. Let's start with what an expiration date actually is. Now, what most people call expiry dates are actually best before dates. According to the Government of Canada, a best before date indicates the time period that a food product will retain certain aspects like freshness and taste or nutritional value if stored properly. So it's not that it will become inedible or poison, but certain aspects of the food cannot be guaranteed anymore, as opposed to an actual expiration date, which states that the date in which strict nutritional and compositional specifications may be lost. These are often placed on products that have specific nutritional or dietary attributes, such as human milk replacement or nutritional supplements or formulated food. However, if the expiration date has been reached on a product, it should probably be discarded. That being said, I still think the two are often used interchangeably in today's vernacular, which is why I actually incorrectly wrote expiration date multiple times at the beginning of this script. Due to this confusion, it's easy to see how mistreatment of these labels can lead to copious amounts of food waste. A study done by the University of Quebec and Montreal showed that most consumers hold the best before date in high regard and often engage in practices like reaching in the back to find the new product, or tossing food out even if the best before date is approaching but not there yet. The study showed that stores will often toss food that is close to or past the best before date, even though it's actually fully legal to sell these products after their best before date. They could sell this stuff, but the stigma of best before dates are so negative that their reputation would be at risk. But there's a bigger picture to the waste. Raw materials, water, land used for agriculture, all of this is being wasted to produce food that isn't being eaten. It's an interesting dilemma because for most consumers, the best before date is the only indication of a food's lifespan. Not everyone is educated on when milk actually goes bad. There was no class on that in high school. I was too busy learning about trigonometry or whatever. I think things like smell tests, which is a good way to actually determine whether something has gone bad, although it can't detect salmonella or bacteria. But it is something that is just picked up by some people. The best thing you can do is look for obvious signs like mold, or if it stinks real bad. One thing I read is that if you want to check if an uncracked egg has gone bad, you can put it in a bowl of water, and if it sinks, then it's good to go. But if it floats, then you got yourself a bad egg, I guess. I also read that you can't crack an egg with one hand. Like with most food labeling, education is the best and easiest way to get consumers to understand what things really mean. Food waste is still a huge issue across the world, with Canada alone wasting around 58% of all food produced. Throwing out food that we think has expired is a large piece of this puzzle of why so much food is wasted within our households. So I say you can still eat that bread without eating 2 sandwiches a day, and you can still drink that milk without downing it in one sitting. Or you can down it in one sitting, it's up to you.
Yeah!
But don't waste, without at least being vigorous in how you check if something is spoiled, because most likely it hasn't expired. I'm Noah Friesen, and thank you for listening.